Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to work on another page from the Ireland album. This is at the very beginning, and it's going to be a calendar page, and I hope it's going to turn out unique. It's going to be unlike any other page I've ever done before, so I think it's going to be really fun and hopefully be kind of a key for guiding us through our entire trip. So I think it's going to be really neat. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started, okay? All right, so this is my workspace for today, and let me just explain a little bit about what I have out here. I have a couple of pieces of paper. This dark one here and the cardstock are from the 2021 National Scrapbook Day Kit. This paper right here I got, I believe, from scrapbooks.com. It has a really cool Celtic design on the back, but I'm going to use the plaid, I think, today. I'm also going to use my Fiskars punch. I know I predominantly focus on using Creative Memories products in my videos, and because I am a Creative Memories advisor. But sometimes the tool that you want or you need for a project is made by another company, and as much as I try hard to, be loyal and only use Creative Memories things, sometimes products that are made by another company enhance what Creative Memories already has. So I am going to use this Fiskars punch. This is a punch I got initially when I was helping my sister with a couple of albums from her trip to Scotland, and it's been a while since I've used it, so bear with me a second, but yeah, that's the way it goes in there. Okay, so this is going to be a cute border that we're going to put on what we call a calendar page. If you've never seen a calendar page, this is what it looks like. A calendar page is a page with a bunch of empty boxes that are 7 boxes wide for the days of the week, and then 6. There are 6 weeks represented on this page. So that's a sizable vacation, right? Our vacation was not that long, but I am going to use a lot of the page in what I hope is some creative ways. So I will show you how we're going to do that in just a minute. But along the lines of thinking about keeping a trip like this organized, because we were traveling with a group, we were all family, but this was a trip that was planned through a tour company, and I will be more than happy to provide you with all of the information of the tour company that we used. They were called Little Gems Tours, and they just did a phenomenal job. We thoroughly enjoyed working with them. They stayed in touch with us for many, many months before our trip happened, and went over all the information, arranged for our lodging. They did just a great job, and our tour guide was fantastic. So I will go ahead and include all that information in the description of this video in case you're interested in contacting them for a trip. This is a shameless plug, I guess you could say. They're not a sponsor of mine or anything. I just really thought it would be nice to give them the props they deserve, because they did a fantastic job for us. One of the things they gave us when we were planning our tour were suggested itineraries for different areas of the country that we were going to be seeing, things that we might want to visit, places we might want to visit while we were in those areas. And so somehow I remember getting a copy of that itinerary on my phone, and so I just took some screenshots of that at one point so that we had a better idea of what we were going to be doing on each day. And I printed those so that I could actually identify where we went on any given day and what we did. And so these are just a couple of those. And I used a really bright Sharpie marker permanent marker because these are not going in my album. I just wanted these for a reference. So that's what those are from. Another thing that I did on this particular trip is I brought a notebook along with me. It could be any kind of notebook, just something blank with lines in it. Perfect. And a pen. And I just stuck it in my bag that went with me everywhere, every day. And then I was able to make notes of everywhere that we went and significant things that may or may not have happened. And things that caused us to have to change our itinerary, which I'll tell you a little bit more later, unexpected things. But this is a great way of keeping track of what went on in your trip and then having a record that you can transfer to your journaling in your album. So I highly recommend it. So, but as far as what we're going to do today, we're going to create this calendar page, and so what I thought would be fun to do, rather than just putting the number in the square and indicating exactly which days we were gone, what I did was I went back through my photos and found pictures that I had lots of duplication of, and I pulled out a few that were significant for one for each day of the trip and cut them so that they fit width-wise in these squares. These squares are 1 5/8 inches wide and more like 1 9/16 inches long. So just about square, but not quite square. And initially what I did was I used our square punch to punch these out. So you'll notice that this particular one is the same size as the square from the square punch, because literally I just took the square punch and punched it right out of my picture, which works for these first two photos because they don't have to be on a specific day. But the rest of these, I was finding that because this is a little bit wider, I didn't have enough space to put 7 of them across and not have the ones on the ends lose a portion. So I decided to just take 1/8 inch off of each one, and that brought me more into compliance with the size space that I have. So with that thought, each of these photos, except these first two, which were taken from the airplane, or on the airplane going over, all the rest of them are punched with this, and then I took 1/8 inch off the side to make them 1 5/8 inches wide. Okay, so, and they're more like 1 3/4 inch tall, but they are 1 5/8 inch wide. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm just going to set that over here. And this is one of our Creative Memories punches, by the way, in case you're curious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place these photos in their respective spots. I'm not going to worry about matting them or anything. They're just going to hold the spot on the calendar. And you can see they are a little, even taking 1/8 inch off, they are a little bit wider than their spot. So you might want to consider taking just a little bit more than 1/8 inch. But you can overlap them too if you want, instead of worrying about stressing about cutting them exactly. See, so I just overlapped that one just a little bit, but you'd never know that. No one's going to get their ruler and hold it over to make sure that it's within the right parameters, right? Okay, so I'm just adding these photographs in, And you'll learn more as the series progresses about what the significance is of some of these things that I have pictured here. Obviously this one is the Cliffs of Moher, but some of them are not quite so obvious. Many were things that until we started looking into what we should see, where we should go, etc., we had no idea that Ireland was well known for. But we learned. We learned a lot on this trip. Our tour guide, Tony, was super knowledgeable and shared so much with us that we just, you have to remember, my mom was a kindergarten teacher by trade for many, many years. And this is her dream trip, right? I think I've told you that before. So learning about all these things was just a dream. It was wonderful. It was fantastic. This is a picture taken at the Book of Kells and Trinity College in Dublin. They have a marvelous museum there that has beautiful displays that are very artfully depicted and explained about the Book of Kells and what it is and where it came from and how it came to be, and marvelous. All right, so now those pictures are down, and essentially our trip started here. This is, I didn't get a photo from where we started in Utah, but we flew from Utah to Chicago and then flew from Chicago to Dublin. And so this was on the little display at the front, on the back of the seat in front of me, and I just took a quick picture of that. And then we flew overnight, so we left in the afternoon here in Utah. We got to Chicago, ate dinner in the airport, and then flew through the night to Dublin and got to Dublin just before lunch. And then so actually the trip starts here on this day, and then we arrive in Dublin, and this is what we did the first afternoon we were there, part of what we did. Okay, so anyway, we'll get more into that when we come to those photos. But I wanted to be able to explain not just the dates that were involved and the places we went on each of these dates, but I thought it would be nice to have something kind of decorative across the top and across the bottom. So that's what we're going to make with these papers. I'm going to use this one first of all, and we're going to punch 2 rows of this. I'm sorry, 4 rows of this. So bear with me, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. You do not need to watch the whole thing, though. I will speed it up for you so that it's a little more tolerable. Alright, so this trimmer is a little bit different than our CM trimmers. You might have noticed I was going back and forth to punch. And this last little bit that I would normally, with our CM punches, I would normally secure with just some Post-it notes to keep it where it needs to be. Instead of doing that, because this is a little bit of a different animal, I'm going to go ahead and use a full-size piece of This is actually one of the cover sheets for one of our paper packs. So it's a lightweight paper. It's not a cardstock. And I'm just using my repositionable adhesive to adhere that down so it's fairly thin still, and that way I can hopefully punch through both, because otherwise there would be no way to stabilize this piece because it's just not big enough. There, beautiful. Okay, so this punching machine from Fiskars works a little bit like our border maker system, a tiny bit like our border maker system, and it can create some really nice border pieces for you. The cartridges are much larger, as you can see. And it does take a little bit more muscle. I feel like it takes a little bit more muscle to use. I prefer our border maker system, even though it makes a smaller border, and our decorative punches for sure are much easier to use. But I didn't have the plaid that I was looking for. I do have a plaid. It's just not quite what I wanted for this. So you'll see the other plaid that Creative Memories does have, and we'll use that another day. Alright, so putting that up there, I'm going to grab my trimmer and come in here, and I'm going to take one of these. That's the other side, by the way, which actually is pretty cool. I don't know if we'll use that or not, though. I think we'll probably stick with the other, because most of them did not turn out as equally balanced as this one. But that does look pretty cool like that. What I wanted to see was a measurement for this diamond space. And it looks like it's about 5/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do, what I want to do, is take this paper, which is the brilliant green that my daughter, well, here's the other side of this, really cool Celtic design, Celtic knot design. One of the things that my daughter Haley immediately said when we touched down was, "Mom, I've always been told how green Ireland is, but look at the grass. It's electric." And she wasn't wrong. The grass in Ireland, I don't know what it is, but there is something, maybe it's just the abundance of it, but the grass there just has this electric green appeal, and wow, they sure have plenty of it, and it is gorgeous. So I'm just trimming off 4 strips of this bright green plaid that are 5/8 of an inch wide, and I'm also going to, this punch is 2.5 inches wide, so I'm going to punch a piece of this that is, let's do, 2 1/8 because I don't want it to necessarily poke out that's not really what I wanted to say. I don't want it to extend beyond the punch. I just want it to go underneath it. So right in between those actually I was thinking right in between these notches right here on either side, but then we don't get that full arch right there. So we definitely need a little bit more than 2 1/8. And I did not stop to think about that. So give me a second here and let's play with this. So in order to ensure that we get that whole arch I need at least 2 1/4. So let's see if we can get 4 pieces at 2 1/4. Maybe let's go 1/16 beyond 2 1/4. It's a little bit tricky to line up, but it can be done. Oh yeah, okay, I like that better. And yes, we're still going to see it in between here, but I like it better that it covers. So we're going to do 3 more that are cut at just 1/16 beyond 2 1/4. Which would be 2 5/16 if you want to be super specific. There's 3, and we'll do 1 more. 2. All right. Now I think I have all the pieces that I want. Let's see how this looks. So what I want to do is come in here with my green, and I want to weave this in and out of this design. Whenever you do this with a punched design, you just have to take a minute, take your time. You don't want to tear anything, and sometimes things can get stuck here or there. So you just want to be careful. We're going to pull that through, and we're going to add it onto there. I'm trying to decide if that is going to make me happy. So there's just something a little bit little bit funky about it, but you know what? I think I'm going to be okay with it. It's colors are a little bit different and maybe not what you'd expect, but I think for the purposes of this type of a layout, they'll be okay. Okay, so just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some repositionable adhesive. And center it on here. So we know we're going to see that blue poking through on the outer edge of the punched piece. So just try to make it as evenly spaced as you can. And try to be careful, because sometimes when you punch pieces like this, they come out a little bit wonky and they want to curve. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for these other punched pieces, and I'll fast forward it so you don't have to watch all of it. Alright, so you might be asking yourself, why did she make 4 borders when this is just 1 page? Well, because when I do a 2-page spread, I like for things to carry over to the next page. So the page that's facing this one will have these 2 borders, and I will show it to you when next we meet. But those borders are for that page. Hope that helps. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'm just going to put some repositionable adhesive on the back of the base of each of these borders, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on my page such that the top of this arch is right underneath the box below each of these pictures, or above the picture, so it goes right across just like that. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. This one is going to go right across the top, so touching the top of the box that goes right above the photos. Okay, so just like that. Now, I'm going to come in through here and add the information for each of these dates. So I'm going to use my Creative Memories pins, which are right here. Find one that matches the colors on the page, probably the green, one of the greens. Maybe, probably the darker one would be more suitable. The lighter green doesn't show up as well, so we'll probably use the darker one, or we could use the microtip pen. I think I'm going to use this pen for the number of the date, and this one for writing in the details about what we did each of those days. So, to give you an idea, we are going to, and you'll notice I'm missing a photo from this last date right here. That's the day that we got home. Not a lot of photos were taken that day, but I do have a few. I just didn't select one for some reason, and I'm not really sure how that happened, but it did. So the first day of our trip when we arrived was September 14th. So let's try the writing side and see what we get. Okay, so I'm just going to write in a 14 up here in the corner. And I think that will probably suffice. I think the other end is going to be too wide for what I want. Maybe we could use it for the number. Careful. Yeah, we could probably use it for the number. So we've got 13, 14, 15. I'm just going to add all of these numbers from the dates that we were gone. And then when I'm done here, I'm going to come down here to the bottom. So 17, then this would be 18. And 19. 20, 21, 22, 23. Did I do that right? Nope. I did it wrong. Drat. All right. So we're going to have to fix it. I'm going to have to fix it. I'll go back and do that before I show you the final picture. But so I'm going to go in here and write in all the highlights of the different places we saw on each of these days. And then I'm going to write September in these blocks over here, these 4. All right. I hope that gives you a better idea of what my thought process is with this. Let me grab some cute stickers and we will just add a little bit here and there. So we're going to say family time right now. Right? Family time right now. And we'll add one of these really pretty little shamrocks on there. And then we'll grab some foam squares. You knew what I was going to say. I could hear ya. Foam squares for the win, as Melissa says. There we've got that. And we've got that one. Let me put a smaller one down here just because I don't want to stress about trying to make sure I don't go off the edge. I'll add that one in there. Alright, so we've got family time right now. We'll add that one in there. And we've got what else should we create with these? Family time right now. Let's celebrate together. Or maybe we should say every day together. We'll say let's celebrate every day together. How's that? Let's celebrate every day together. And we'll use another one of these beautiful shamrocks. Whoever created this collection and added these beautiful clovers, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. And I know that some people were not super keen on this collection because they thought, oh, it's all shamrocks, it's all St. Patrick's Day, what are we going to do with that? But honestly, I love it. I think it's so pretty. So, to each their own, I guess, right? And we'll add just a little dragonfly also. Let's celebrate together. Okay. I'm going to use one of these bigger foam squares to try to, oh, it's not going to go. I'm going to put this on an angle and try to make it hit all three of those levels so we can kind of help them stay together, right? Let's see. Do the same thing here. There. I'm going to get a small one to put on our little dragonfly down here. There. And this one can go down here. And I'll get those adhered on after I do the rest of the journaling and fix my numbers, which I can't believe I messed up. But clearly I was a little bit not paying attention. Okay. Okay, so to fix my mistake, Creative Memories used to have these little packets of, I can't remember if they were stickers or if they were just little, no, I think they were stickers, and they coordinated with the colors of our different pages so that you could cut a little square or a little strip and cover if you made a mistake when you're in your journaling or something like that. Exactly like what I've done here. And to my knowledge, the new company has never created those again, but we did just come out with these right-on stickers, and they come in a 2-pack. They are white, and since this page is white, they don't match exactly, but they're pretty darn close. And so I think what I'm going to do is see if I can just match, or just, take a strip of this and cover where I made my mistake. So I'm using the wider one of the two. You get two different sizes of these, and they're called Right On stickers. Right On with an exclamation mark, which I completely concur. And what I'm going to do is just take a strip of these and my precision point scissors, and I'm going to cover best I can that area where I wrote. Trying to make it as square as possible, but the likelihood is that it will be a little off, because that's how I roll typically. I'm a little off. So I'm just kind of pushing it into the spot where I want it, and then I'm going to set it down. Now, you're going to be able to see that. I don't know if you can see it very well on camera, but I can see it. I know it's there, and it's very obvious. So just keep that in mind. But barring the alternative, I'm thinking this is a good option for fixing my mistake. Okay, and before I goof up again, I'm going to go ahead and, this should have said the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. So I'm going to go ahead and write 16 and 15 here, so that I'll be inclined to do it the right way as I finish this up. Alright, so if you haven't already gotten some of these, I highly recommend them. Even if you don't use them for journaling, but you just use them for fixing those occasional mistakes, because none of us are perfect. And we do mess things up from time to time. Now I'm going to go in and go ahead and write in all the different places that we went on each of these days, and then we'll get these set down. Yeah, and all will be well. I'll take a picture. You'll see the final picture in the cover slide that will be on this video. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, and thank you for your patience while I figured out what to do to fix my mistake. And I hope this video has been helpful for you. And until next time, I wish you many more creative moments. You take care now.